Hello everybody. This is Irina Strunina and Kim Kyle. We are here for our monthly meeting, Diabetes 101 for Caregivers Crash Course, where Kim and myself decided in 2025 we are going to do this every month to help those who are supporters of people who had diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. Very often, the reason why I thought that this is something that we need to do very often is situation goes like that. Somebody got diagnosed, they start going to doctor's visits, they get some suggestions at the doctor's office, and when they come home, I've been in this sit, when they come home, you ask them, how was it? And they say, everything is good. Like, anything more than that? Yeah, my blood work is good. Continue doing what I'm doing. Everything is good. Did you ask about this? Oh, I forgot. Did you ask about that? Why do I need to ask about that? Well, because this is what we're doing in the house. Oh, I didn't think about it. So all these conversations happening already after the doctor's visit, and the caregiver, the spouse, the child, the parent, friend, anyone who really wants to help don't know what they could do, how they can help in a better way. Plus, unfortunately, there is so much information out there now that if I, without any previous knowledge about diabetes, will start diving in it and try to educate myself, I need some direction. I need some, step-by-step instructions. And that's what Kim and I decided to do this year. This is our not the first time, this is our ninth time when we meet and talk about different aspects of life with diabetes. And Kim is so good. She is giving us those presentations in a very easy to understand and easy to relate language and description. So I strongly recommend it to see everyone, not only caregivers, but those who went to doctor's office and sometimes doctor said something and you maybe didn't quite understand what they meant. Or, oh, I forgot they told me about it. So this is a reminder for you about what you already were talking about, but forgot to think about it again. So this is, let me show you the screen, what other talks we already had. So you could go ahead to our YouTube channel, Diabetes 101 for beginners, for caregivers, all of these playlists under the Smart Move 360. This is my official channel and there are playlists. So Diabetes 101 for caregivers is there. So I will share my screen real quick. So you could see the presentations we already had. Starting January, we spoke about what is diabetes and insulin resistance. You often hear this at the doctor's office, but not always we feel brave enough to ask the doctor, what does it mean exactly? So Kim explained it to us in a very details, and you could go ahead and watch that presentation. We spoke about A1C and why it is important. And same way, please go there and watch the video number 2, and it will be about A1C. We had a whole presentation on the A1, what it is, that medications for diabetes. So, because very often when we are caring for someone, doctor said you got to take this medication, and there are some details. Some of it you need to take with the food. Some of them you need to take on empty stomach. Some of it have this effect, or the other have totally opposite effect, and you need to know a little bit about it so you may actually stop someone from taking wrong medication in the wrong time, or remind them that this is actually time when you're supposed to be taking it, right? So when we are shopping, we need to know how to read the labels on all those packages and everything. So we had the presentation about that. We also need to understand why nutrition is so important when we are taking care of our body, especially if we have this condition already present. So the explanation how this nutrition work, what is feeding what, we had this presentation. And of course, a lot of questions in our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners. We have about snacks, what to eat for breakfast, what to eat for lunch. We dedicated a single meeting to each of these, to snacks, to breakfast, to lunch, and today it's the time to talk about dinners. So today Kim will be talking more about there is some, I'm sure, overlapping information. I didn't see the show yet, so we will see. Probably there will be some overlapping information because the principles, they are the same. What for breakfast, what for lunch, what for dinner. You have to have certain necessary nutrients in suggested order every time. But very often we go out for dinner. And it's a different situation. You didn't cook it. You have a guess what may be on your plate, but how to make an order the way that it is actually goes along with your course of actions day to day and not ruining all your efforts that you did put so far. So that is the plan for today. I hope Kim is okay with me jumping ahead and starting on this. Uh, Now, Kim, it's your turn. Please, the mic is yours.
Well, thank you, Arena, and thank you for giving me so much credit. This is all your idea, and you asked me to come along this journey, so I'm so thankful. But the one thing Arena and I have in common is that we were caregivers for our family member who had diabetes, Arena's husband and my dad. And I went back to school to be a dietitian just so I could help my dad because his family, his dad and his mom and his siblings did not do very good with diabetes. They all have diabetes. My grandmother was a double amputee and was blind by the time she passed away. And, it's tough out there. So I was able to be my dad's caregiver. I was able to teach my mom how to take better care of my dad. My dad did not like the changes. He loves to eat, he loves to drink alcohol, he loves to go to fast food. So it was a huge transition for him. But there is something that I used to say, I'm going to say it to you now. I have it as a reminder at the end of this slide, but let me ask you this. What does the 5 year from now you want you to do today? Think about that. I have lots of stories. Just one quick story. I met this 30-year-old, very successful corporate president of, she was probably had 500 employees under her, very driven in her career, but she was never driven in her diabetes. And she came to me at the point where she was already in stage 4 kidney failure. And she said to me, I might, need a kidney transplant. She's like, I haven't even gotten married. I haven't even had children. And so I worked with her for a year. And then I never saw her again. And I found out several years later that she actually did go into stage 5 kidney failure, which was, she had to have a transplant. Um, and she didn't make it. She didn't make it. So do it now. Think about that 5 year from now. You're going to have to make some tough, uncomfortable choices, but that's better than regretting not doing something. So we're going to lighten the mood a little bit though. So I have a great presentation. So thank you, Arena, for letting me do this. It really helps me because I'm not a perfect person. Arena's not, but when you think about how do I want to be in 5 years from now, I think some of these hard choices can really make a difference. So let's talk about it. Yes, we are going to talk about dining out. I think if we're ever going to go out for a meal, it's probably going to be dinner, I would think, because we're tired at the end of the day. We don't want to do any more meals. We don't want to cook any more food, or we've been with kids all day, or we've been at work all day. We're really stressed and we don't have time to go to the grocery store. So let's just go out. And that is fine. But I'm going to give you some strategies that you can, really use the next time you dine out. Maybe it's today. I just need to ask Arena, can you see this presentation okay?
Yes, everything is good. Thank you.
Okay, great. So yes, I'm Kim, and I have been in the diabetes world for over 20 years. At my current job for 19 and a half years. I work at an outpatient diabetes center. It has just been the best job. I've never had a reason to leave. There is no better job than what I have right now. So I treat all types of diabetes, educating them on diet. I give presentations weekly. I probably give about 6 presentations a week to my patients. And it's just really what I was meant to do. So you have to think about sometimes bad things happen for good things to happen. And I truly believe that, because had my dad not gotten diabetes, had I not thought about him and turning into somebody like my grandmother, who was a double amputee, I would have never done this job. I would have never gone back to school. So I'm just so thankful that sometimes bad things happen, and for the good. And we all know where that comes from. Sometimes all the bad things can get turned for good. All right. So I am a diabetes educator. I'm a dietitian. I get certified every 5 years. I just went through a certification in 2024, but I have to do continuing education. I have to make sure I'm still practicing in the field of diabetes to get that credential. So when you see the credential after somebody's name, RD, CDCES, that's someone who has been in the diabetes world and really does know what they're talking about. So there are so many influencers out there that might use the word functional nutritionist. Well, that's not a protected term. So look for the credentials.
And Kim, just a quick question. Lately, I learned that there's specific, special, like, how do you call it? The diabetes nutritionist or dietitian nutritionist for diabetes. Did you hear about it? This kind of like a new narrowed down. It's a dietitian, it's nutritionist, and it's all aimed into the diabetes. Did you hear about this?
Well, that would be the certified diabetes care and education specialist. Now, I'll have to go in and look at the ADA and seeing if that's true. I mean, there are some different levels of certification, but it's the word nutritionist is never protected. So that would not be something that they would call somebody who, like me, who's
Okay.
credentialed, has a bachelor's degree, has gone through the training.
Okay.
So I'll
Okay.
look into that.
Yeah. Sorry about interruption.
But you not everybody could do that. Like you would have to have a solid, nutrition science background for you to be able to get any of those other certifications. So let's just have a quick review about what is diabetes. Oops. And basically, diabetes just means one thing: higher blood sugars longer. There are different types of diabetes. There's pre-diabetes, which I really, really need you guys to hear this. Please hear this. Pre-diabetes is reversible. Your bottom right quadrant here. Pre-diabetes is reversible. That's an A1C of 5.7 to 6.4. If you go to the doctor every year, make sure they draw this. If you have a family history of diabetes, or maybe you had gestational diabetes when you were pregnant, maybe you have a condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome for women. Men, if you carry your weight more in your stomach, you are at risk of prediabetes. And that is just a warning. Your body's telling you, hey, something's not going right. Maybe you should do something about it. Let's go to the doctor. We can reverse prediabetes. We can maintain the integrity of your insulin cells. And usually dealing with prediabetes is a lifestyle change. Most often it is. It's you're consuming too many foods that raise your blood sugar, but you're not using that blood sugar. And if you don't use it, the body stores it for later, and that could be in the form of body fat. So maybe you gain some weight. Maybe you got a job that you're more sedentary. A lot of these changes can cause you to be in prediabetes. But as long as you're aware of it and you are on top of it with your doctor and your medical team, you can reverse it. I would even say anybody who has an A1C of 5.5 or higher, I would do something about it right away. So yeah, so sometimes it's just a lifestyle change. Some physical attributes. And I will tell you something personal about me. In my menopause stage, I started developing these skin tags around my neck. And that is a sign of insulin resistance. Somebody who might have a darker skin might see a ring, a very visual ring around their neck, and it's a dark ring. That's a sign of insulin resistance. So there are some physical features that could cause that. And in my early menopause stage, I was pre-diabetic. Certainly have reversed that because I know what to do. So, I mean, I had to do that. Yes, I had to change my diet. I had to know that having menopause, having hormonal changes, even, different times of your life can cause your insulin not to work as well. But you can reverse prediabetes. It happens where the doctor isn't really aggressive with you. They might, and I've heard this a million times. I guess I can say that now after being in this world for almost 20 years. A million times they have said from a patient, the doctor said I have prediabetes, but it's nothing to worry about. Oh, it's fine. You just have a little bit of prediabetes. It's okay. That is never an okay statement to say from a doctor. You have prediabetes, that's a medical condition. Take care of it. Get to a dietitian, get referred to an endocrinologist. Be proactive. If the doctor isn't proactive, you have to be proactive or find a new doctor. So let's talk about what is insulin. Insulin is in your body and you are born with it. This is the crazy thing. We don't really make new insulin cells. We are born with all the insulin cells, the beta cells that we will have for our entire life. So over the years, and you use them up, or you have high carbohydrate intake and you're not really doing anything about it, maybe you gain weight, these insulin cells start to be really tired and they don't want to work as much. So just remember that you don't have an endless supply of insulin cells. So be kind to them. Don't make them work too hard. So type 2 diabetes would be when your insulin cells are still in your body. You still have function of your insulin cells. They're still there to get the sugar out of your blood. That's the main job of insulin. The moment your blood sugar rises, the insulin comes right into your bloodstream and starts to gather that sugar, open up a door so that sugar can escape. And every cell in our body runs on sugar. That's our fuel. So our body's going to put it to all the places that's available and store the rest for later. That could be weight gain or for the next activity. So type 2 diabetes can absolutely be controlled by diet, exercise. You might need to lose weight. When you lose weight and you remove body fat, some of your cells now have space to put that extra sugar. So that's the root cause. It's not so much avoiding carbs. It's let's empty out some of our cells of the fat so we can put more sugar in there when we're eating a carbohydrate-rich meal. So the end result is never, yeah.
For those who are in business and in sales, you need to move the supply. You need to sell the last year or last season
Yeah.
product to bring the new modern whatever products are. So this is what the same thing. We need to move that resource of energy, the storage of energy, move it out, use it, and bring more if you need to. Sorry.
No,
I
I
just
love
got
that.
thought about it.
That is exactly right. Like if you have a warehouse that's full of all your supplies, you can't move new things in. So we got to get rid of the stacked shelves, which is our cells being full of fatty acids. That's how we store the blood sugar. So we got to remove that so we can still eat carbohydrates because this is the root cause. It is never my choice to tell you you can never eat carbs again. And I think a lot of people are getting that message. That is not true. We got to make room for the carbs by clearing out the shells. Let's clear out our supply of fatty acids. Let's lose weight. Let's exercise more. Let's reduce our calories. I mean, lots of ways I can teach you how to do that. But that's basically type 2 diabetes. Sometimes, especially my family, my dad's family, The insulin cells were there. We didn't lose the function of our insulin cells, but they didn't work as quickly as needed. So sometimes adding medication is necessary, and that's okay. So insulin controlled, medication controlled type 2 diabetes, or a lot of my patients are losing weight from bariatric surgery, going on the GLP-1s, and they have been able to lose enough body weight to reverse their diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is very interesting. It's an autoimmune condition. Nobody deserves this. This is a really tough condition to have, and it's lifelong. When the body attacks itself, it might attack our pancreas, which is where our insulin cells live. And if the body attacks the pancreas, we no longer have insulin. We no longer have the ability after eating to take the sugar out of our blood and to the cells. That's exactly what insulin does. So somebody with type 1 diabetes has to take insulin for the rest of their life. Thank goodness we have that. But I have been in my practice where we have 6-month-old babies coming in with type 1 diabetes, and I'm there to educate the family on how to handle this. So a baby that has type 1 diabetes will never get insulin cells back into their pancreas. They will have to take insulin for the rest of their lives as a life-saving measure. But it's so much better now. We have so much great technology, and we have so many great medicines, and we have great education that even a baby with type 1 diabetes can live a long life. Would you like to add anything to that? Like with your husband, did he know that he had did you know he had pre-diabetes?
No, we did not. The way how it happened to him, he was always so busy with his business, with his clients, with the projects he had to take care of, and in I do remember that at certain point when he started presenting this, you know, constant thirst, very often going to the bathroom. And we had the visit with our chiropractor, and he was observing it and said, have you been at the doctor's office lately? Because it sounds like he has diabetes. And we're like, no, we haven't been at the doctor's office for a long time. He has no time to go there. He said,
Yeah,
well, I would recommend you to go and check it. And of course, we didn't. So the next thing was he was hospitalized. He probably was in diabetic coma. I wasn't present for it. I just called the 911 while he
yeah,
was on a business trip, and he came back home with this diagnosis. But I suspect that he had prediabetes, had no idea he had,
yeah,
or maybe when he was the last time at the doctor's office, and doctor maybe suggested that he has it, and he just decided don't share it, or doctor
yeah,
maybe said the same thing. It's a little elevated, but it's okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's really a shame. I think the new doctors, I think, are certainly on top of it more. And I think that there's new curriculums that'll be going into the medical, schooling to really pay attention to the prediabetes because we can avoid so much if we take care of our patients that we notice has prediabetes. And so they don't have a long life of all these complications. And that's really what I'm here for, to help you prevent complications, help your family member prevent complications, because that is very expensive.
Mhm.
So today we're talking about dinner, and dinner is probably the one meal that we tend to eat out the most. But here are some statistics that I was really surprised by. And this is for the American population. 55%, almost more than half of our food budget goes to restaurants. We are not eating at home anymore. We are getting things at a restaurant before we go to work. And this is really, I think the millennials, I mean, I treat a lot of millennials and, in the 20, 30-year-old range. And yeah, they're going out to restaurants 3 times a week. I was on the phone with a lady and she's like, wait, I have to answer my door. It was DoorDash. I'm like, you're home. Why are you getting DoorDash? Anyway, it's fascinating to me how frequently people dine out.
It's
So
actually to agree with you. My daughter recently bought a car, and she got the car loan, and she was like, "Oh, I have to seriously start cooking at home." She lives separately. because I just, and she did a good thing. I think it's a sign of growing up. She's in her mid 20s, and
Yeah.
she said, I looked at my not bank statement, but this analysis of my finances. And
Yeah.
absolutely right. She said 60% of what
Yeah.
I am paying for is for all those takeouts
Yeah.
or for all the restaurant visits or whatever.
Yes.
So, and she knows how to cook. So she is actually on a good track, I'd consider. But absolutely, 55%, this is very, very, very accurate assumption here.
Yeah. But look at the cost. $6 for a home cooked meal. And I guarantee you that would, no matter how you cook it, it's going to be more food. $15. And I experienced this when I went to Chick-fil-A a couple weeks ago because I love Chick-fil-A. I go at least once or twice a month. So I'm different from the actual percentages of people that dine out. But it was $15 for a meal that 4 years ago, I probably paid $8 for.
And it's
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A drive-through or something. But if you go to sit-down restaurant, you
Yes.
put on top of it also the tips. And the
Yes.
tips now 20-25%. So going out is
Yeah.
very expensive trip.
And they give you that little window, and you're like, you don't want to be a jerk and say, 10%. I mean, you got to tip 20% or they're going to look at you weird. But 22 or more dollars for a medium chain restaurant, like an Olive Garden or something. But if it's a lovely, like exclusive restaurant, you'll probably pay $40, $50 per person. Yeah, so it's important. Now, our other presentations at Arena, thank you so much for listing all those. There's a lot of great nutrition facts there. I'll certainly review some for you, but I wanted to go more into the restaurant, the dining out, because there's some great tips and tricks that I'm going to give you today. So the restaurant mindset is, we're busy, we deserve it. We had a really hard week, and I get that, and completely. If that can relieve some stress, you dine out. You go ahead and get that restaurant meal. Another mindset could be, this is a restaurant. I never cook this stuff like Asian meals. Like I don't cook that at home. So if I'm going to an Asian restaurant, it's like I want to have all the things that I've been craving, for so long. And then like going to buffets, it's like, God, I can't wait to go to this buffet. I'm going to get everything. I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm going to pie on my plate. I'm going to go back 5 times. We have these mindsets when we go into these restaurants. But if we have diabetes or a family member has diabetes, you have to think about that because I would never go out to dinner with my dad and just get a plate of donuts. I mean, I would have never done that. That would be upsetting, I would think, to my dad. I don't think that would be fair. So when I dine out with my dad who had diabetes, I pick things that I would pick for him. Even though I don't have diabetes, I was still conscious that he was there and I wasn't, going to order something that he's really craving. But I will tell you, he would order the biscuits and gravy, and that's okay, but he was not going to order the orange juice. I would not let him do that. I was like, Dad, you got enough carbs on your plate. That's it. So we go out to restaurants and we think, I'm going to get my money's worth. Well, and the restaurants are aware of that. They know that you are looking for a big serving of an entree or the appetizer. They want to go big for you because they know that they have jacked up the price by probably 40% in 4 years. So they want you to visually see like you're getting a lot for your money. But what is the cost of that? Is a high blood sugar really worth it to go out and get a volume of food because you're paying a lot of money for it? I have something that you may not want to hear.
GLP-1 medication is more expensive than the meal in
That's
restaurant.
Oh, that's
So
a good way to think about it. So are medicines for diabetes, so are complications of diabetes, that's more expensive. Um, yeah, blood sugars after restaurant meals. I see blood sugar reports every day. My population right now, I focus on pregnancy and diabetes or gestational diabetes. That's diabetes during pregnancy only. And I'm like, whoa, a 265 was yesterday. My patient went out to an Asian restaurant and she had the sweet and sour, whatever. I'm like, that should be a clue right there. The word sweet in the entree list. I mean, probably that's not going to work out. So yeah, she had a super high blood sugar. She was so worried about it. I'm like, well, these are things that you just have to learn not to do. But yeah, restaurant meals, absolutely. We have higher blood sugars after restaurant eating versus home cooked meals. There was a handout that I was supposed to see, but it's going to come up, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it to you now. The dirty little secret of a restaurant is that they're going to give you the largest portion of the cheapest food. And guess what the cheapest food is? The carbohydrates. Exactly right. Now, on this slide, the average entree, this is just the entree, has nothing to do with appetizers or drinks or desserts, but the average entree is 1,000 calories. Most women who need to lose weight probably need to be around 1,500 to 1,800 calories a day. Most men who want to lose weight need to be around 2,000 to 2,200 calories a day. So if you're going to have 3 meals a day at restaurants, and even a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I mean, that's 3,000 calories. It may not be a lot of food, but you're eating a lot of calories. The average carbs for an entree is over 100 grams of carbs. A foot-long Subway sandwich is 95 grams of carbs. A plate of pasta at Olive Garden is 125 grams of carbs. So you're getting a lot of carbs because they want to throw the bread at you. They're going to put the chips on the table before you even get the entree. Like they want you to feel like you're getting a value for your money. But for coming in there with diabetes, pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, it's a whole different world that you have to think about. Heart disease is certainly very prevalent in my diabetes patients, and saturated fat is something that I've talked about in another presentation, but I'll probably bring up again. But saturated fat is what clogs the arteries, not cholesterol. And we talked about that. And that's weird because that's all you've heard. I can't have cholesterol. I can't have eggs. I can't. No, it's the saturated fat. And saturated fat is not only in like a red meat steak, it's also in a biscuit. It's also in a croissant, in a packaged food. So saturated fat is what needs to get the attention. So in a 6-ounce ribeye, which is the fattier steak, but it's the most juicy one because it has all the fat in it. Just one 6-ounce portion of a ribeye has 20 grams of saturated fat for just that portion. And that's the maximum we want in a whole day. And then I'm telling you, this is the craziest thing. I'll always, get to a presentation where I'm talking with a client. I'm like, a frozen meal might be a really quick and easy way to get a lunch or a dinner. Oh, no, no, no. I could never do a frozen meal because those are so high in sodium. But they're eating out, 5 times a week. It's like you have no idea the sodium in a restaurant meal. How do you think they can preserve the food? They're salting the lettuce. I mean, they're salting everything for preservation. So you're eating out 5 times a week. You are not on a low sodium diet. I promise you that. The average entree is 1,500 milligrams of sodium. And I went, the hot and sour soup at any Asian restaurant, don't get it. 4,000 milligrams of sodium in one bowl of a hot and sour soup at a restaurant. Insane. 2,000 milligrams of sodium should be your max. So think about that. There's a lot of things going on at a restaurant meal, but it's not like in your face. And so it's easier to just overlook it. Here's the dirty little secret at restaurants. They're going to give you a lot of carbs because that's the cheapest. 70% of your plate is going to be carbs. 20% protein. Sometimes, I could get this marsala chicken entree at Olive Garden. There's 2 chicken breasts there. So actually that's pretty good. So 20% of protein in a meal, I guess that's okay. But 10% of veggies, so we're not going to fill up on the foods that don't raise our blood sugar, which is what the plate method shows us. We want more food from veggies, more food from protein, because that's what makes us full. And we want a side dish of the carbs. And that is completely upside down at a restaurant. So this is a picture of an Asian meal that you might get, which is fried rice. That's about 2 cups of fried rice. You can't see the full picture, but then the chicken is also breaded. So we got maybe a sweet and sour chicken here with the sweet sauce. So that entree alone is probably I'd say 200 grams of carbs. And then we got the egg roll and the sweet dipping sauce. So, this is just disaster for blood sugars. But you can always redesign your meal. You can redesign it in real time at the restaurant, Or you can consider this is my actual plate. I took a picture of this. I went to the mall and I was hungry. And I wanted that breaded. Oh, they have the most delicious breaded chicken at this one mall restaurant I go to. That is carbs. So that's what I chose. That's my carb, the breading on the chicken. So they were like looking at me like I was the weirdest thing in the world, but I said no rice. But I doubled the veggies, I doubled the meat. I still had the carbs, but very minimal. In this case, it might have been 30 grams of carbs, but I had a lot of meat. I had a lot of vegetables. Blood sugars were great after that. I don't have pre-diabetes anymore, but this is a time that I was watching it. And this would be great. I mean, do you need the rice if you got the breading on the chicken? Probably not. It's a hard choice to make. But as I said in the last presentation I did, you got to choose your hard. High blood sugar or not getting the rice at your meal. Choose your hard. Here's some other meals that you can redesign in real time. Do you need the stack of pancakes? I know IHOP is amazing. They have the best pancakes. But did you know they are using just your store-bought pancake mix at IHOP? I used to do food inspections at restaurants. I went to every back of the restaurant. They're using the same stuff you are. They're not doing this from scratch. It's the powdered mix. So can you get the pancakes? We're going to have the pancakes because that's what you went there for, but can you get some protein around it? The protein is going to help you to feel full and it's going to help you to slowly digest those carbs. So let's get it down to 2 pancakes. That's about 45 grams of carbs. We can ask them for sugar-free syrup. They have Mrs. Buttersworth in the back of the store. You can ask them for the sugar-free syrup. And then you have all the protein around it. You have a lovely meal, but completely different blood sugars at the end of this. What about Five Guys? Now, this is a Five Guys meal on the left. Do you know they give you a bag of French fries? I remember going there. This was years ago. I haven't gone there since because that's tempting. Like, I love French fries. You give me a bag, I'm going to want the bag. But even going to Five Guys, you could still rearrange your meal. You could ask them for a side salad. You can ask them for extra pickles, but you're going to put a handful of French fries on your new burger bowl. We're going to get rid of the bun. The French fries, of course, is what you're there for. You chop up the burger, you put it on a salad. Yes, it's extra work. Yes, you have to do a little bit of labor, but it's worth it. A high blood sugar leads to complications. You have so many high blood sugars over the years, that's when we end up with kidney failure. We don't get the function of our kidney back. The only thing you can do is stop the damage. Our eyes are going to go blurry. We may not get that back, but you can stop the damage. The neuropathy is you're going to have pain in your feet, but maybe you can stop the damage. So you have to make these hard choices every single day. Diabetes is chronic. If you don't pay attention to it, it will turn out to be a complication you never felt coming until it's just there. You don't feel it until it's to the point that it's very obvious. Fajitas. If you want to get a low carb meal at a restaurant, go to a Spanish style restaurant and get the fajitas. You're going to get so much meat, so much vegetables, but it's all the size that they bring with it. We got the tortillas, we got the beans, we got the rice, and that's what you have to portion control. But it's easy to do at a restaurant like that. Like I would get the to-go box ahead of time. I do that at a restaurant because I'm packing my meal for tomorrow. So I'm not, if it's in my face and I'm talking, having a great conversation, Rena and I are out to dinner, I'm going to just be picking on all my food and probably end up eating everything. But if you start in the beginning and let's get half the beans there, maybe most of the rice in there, maybe save 1 tortilla you can have with the fajitas, and then you pack up your meal for tomorrow. These days, I'll go there and just eat the fajitas. I just love the fajitas. Maybe I'll get some black beans on the side. But you have to start making these low carb choices for your overall health. Nobody's going to do it for you. Maybe you don't want to hear your family member tell you for the 8th time to, not eat all the rice. Just do it. Just start being responsible. You are responsible for what you put in your mouth. So we're all getting back to the visual plate method. This is the blood sugar friendly plate. You don't have to know numbers. You don't have to know everything about producing carbohydrate or blood sugar friendly plates. You just need to know visually what that should look like. We want half our plate coming from non-starchy vegetables. The other half of our plate, we're going to divide between the protein and the carbs. The carbs is the side dish. You're still going to have the fries. You're still going to have the rice. You're still going to have the pasta, but pick one. If you're at a restaurant, are you going to have the baked potato skins? Well, that's your carb for the meal. Then maybe you'll have a grilled chicken salad for your entree. Maybe you really want that dessert. So maybe we have a salad, or the best thing to get at an appetizer if they have it, let's get the shrimp cocktail. Let's get the shrimp cocktail for an appetizer. That's not a carb. We're already starting to eat protein. For our entree, let's get the steak and broccoli and save maybe the baked potato for a different meal tomorrow because you want that dessert. Spend your carbs in the dessert, but don't spend your carbs at every point in that meal. So make some choices, make some decisions. Protein, protein, protein. This is a slide from my last presentation, but it works. Protein slows digestion. That is a beautiful thing. When you can provide your body with protein at the same time you're eating carbs, absolutely the blood sugars are going to go up much slower. It's a beautiful ingredient. Animal proteins, vegetarian proteins do have some carbs, but it will still be better than if you just ate the fries. Double the protein, by the way. When you go to a restaurant, always double the protein. Yes, you're going to pay more money. Yes, you are. You're going to pay more money for it, but it's worth it. Carb, try to get the high fiber carbs. Now,
Hold on, just a second. Double the protein, you'll pay more money, but keeping in mind that you're taking with yourself something home, so you are paying for 2 meals right away. So maybe it's not that expensive after all.
I love the videos. Like I'll go on TikTok and go to all the people who are choosing low carb, but you go to Chick-fil-A, which is my favorite restaurant. You get, I love the wrap, but get 6 extra grilled nuggets and put it in the wrap. Get extra protein. It's always going to be the saving grace. Restaurants are not going to have the high fiber carbs. They're not, but that's okay. I mean, but if you can get the beans instead of the rice, that's a higher fiber carb. If you can get the sweet potato or the white potato, those are both pretty decent in fiber. But the sweet potato without the brown sugar, without the marshmallows, if you can do that, that'd be great. If they have a choice of brown rice, get the brown rice or the quinoa. If they will give you a lovely fruit cup instead of the French fries, then do that. Yes, it's a hard choice. If you're there for the fries, get the fries. But if you're there for, something else that has carbs in it, like the pasta, then maybe, try for the fruit cup. Adding vegetables, they won't add a lot of vegetables to your meals because vegetables are expensive. Restaurants have to wash them, they have to store them, they have to chop them. It takes a lot of labor to do veggies. But if you can order a side salad, you can order extra broccoli, whatever you can do to get that fiber and volume in there. These vegetables are not going to raise your blood sugar, but they're going to really fill up your tummy so you feel more full and can just physically eat less of the carbohydrates at the meal. Because nobody wants to be starving after an entree at a dinner meal. And healthy fats from get an olive oil dressing instead of a ranch dressing. Find maybe a vinegar-based dressing instead of a blue cheese. It's going to make a difference. Those healthy fats improve our heart health, so you can already be doing something great for yourself. And I will die on this hill. We've got to stop drinking carbs. And I put it that way because sugar is not a bad word. It's not a bad word. But when you're drinking your carbs, there is nothing that's going to slow that down. The protein that you ate is not going to slow it down. The fibrous salad that you ate is not going to slow down the rise of your blood sugars. We have got to stop this 100%. Get in the habit of ordering unsweet tea. Get in the habit of ordering a diet drink. Get a water, ask for lemon or lime on the side so you can flavor it up a little bit. I bring my Crystal Light little flavor packets to a restaurant with me because I just like the lemonade flavor from Crystal Light. Flavors the water and it's not going to raise the blood sugar. So this has to be one of the main things that you do as a caregiver in your home. Don't bring the regular drinks into the home. If you're a family member with, type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes feels that, they can't have it or that's a craving of theirs, that's not fair. We're all on the same team. And move. I'm telling you, the best medicine for a high blood sugar or prevent a high blood sugar is movement. Maybe you're going to take a walk before you go out to dinner because it's going to be too late by the time you go home. That will be fine. Moving can be walking inside or outside. We are now going to be having rain for the next 3 days. So maybe walking outside isn't an option, but find something you can do inside. Maybe grab a family member, get a YouTube video, have some fun with it. Even a house chore can be considered exercise. Just moving your muscles. Your muscles want your sugar. And it's a beautiful relationship. Exercise, lower blood sugars every single time. So when you're dining out, yeah, you're going to have to be proactive. I know it's a hard choice, but pick your heart. You want a high blood sugar as a result, or do you want to make some sacrifices at the meal? So in the beginning, get that to-go box and put half the starch in that to-go box. Close it up so you don't even think about it. That's for your meal tomorrow. You're going to save some money because you spent one amount of money on this meal, but you're getting 2 or even 3 meals out of it. If you want the breadsticks at Olive Garden, then don't get the pasta on the entree. Get the bread. That's how you want to spend your carbs. Get the breadsticks. The French fries or the bread on the bun. Double the hamburger patty, so get a double burger, no bun, and crunch or dice that up or slice it up and put it on a salad. Have a burger bowl, but have the French fries. Have the rice or the beans or have a small amount of each and take the rest home. If you're going there for the dessert, then get low carb appetizer, maybe a carb-free dinner meal because you know that you're going there for the dessert, and share it with 1 to 3 people. And that, we don't need the whole, desserts at restaurants are huge. You don't need the whole thing. Would you be happy with 3 or 4 bites? Probably you will. And at pizza restaurants, it is so easy to order the thin crust. The thin crust is half of the carbs, guaranteed. You're going to save 45 grams of carbs, which 45 extra grams of carbs could raise your blood sugar by 50 points. So make the hard choices now so you don't suffer later.
Just a quick ad. And when you're at the restaurant and you feel that this was too much, before you even leave the restaurant, you're sitting at the table, raise your heels under the table. Nobody will know that you're already working on lowering your blood sugar. I'm doing it right now, so I thought I will talk about it.
Great. That's I love it when you say that because when I heard Arena say that, and then the next week I heard a cardiologist say your calf muscle is your second heart because it's the lowest part of your body. If you're not using your calf muscles, like naturally we're using them when we're walking, but if you're sitting at a restaurant, you can just bounce your heels up and down off the floor. You're using your calf muscles. That is a muscle that wants to absorb your sugar. So just sitting there, nobody's going to know you're doing it. Like Arena said, I'm doing it right now under the table. But that is a way to start exercising those muscles so you can start lowering that blood sugar. That is I love it when you bring that up. It's always a great tip. Now, I work with type 2, type 1 diabetes, so often I'll hear these stories like, yeah, I went to the restaurant, I had all the stuff, and I came home 2 hours because somebody with type 1 diabetes will take insulin there at the table because they're going to look at their meal and they're going to dose insulin based on the carbs they're eating. But they usually get it wrong. They come home a couple hours later, their blood sugar is still in the 300s. So now they're going to start to rage dose insulin. And that, if you're not aware of how much insulin you have on board in your body, you can eventually have a low blood sugar that's more serious than a high blood sugar, honestly, because you could pass out. You could, never wake up. I mean, it can be very, very serious. So controlling carbohydrates, knowing that you're not going to eat everything in the entree, you're going to save some of it for the next meal, the next day. Just make that a routine. Just make that a habit, just something you do all the time. You're not missing out because the result of eating all the carbs at your restaurant meal is the result of a high blood sugar that can lead to complications down the road. So I'll say this again. What does the you 5 years from now want you to do today? And you have to think about that. If you do nothing in 5 years, you could have complications throughout the entire body. Neuropathy, blurry vision, starting with kidney damage, starting with, more clogged arteries. It's just, You have to think about that. I want to be a very healthy 80-year-old. So I have to, definitely train my muscles every day so I don't get osteoporosis, so I'm not weak in I want to be the 80-year-old that everybody looks at, goes, I can't believe you're 80. You are so fit. You're doing all these crazy things. You're still hiking. You're still, exercising, going to the gym. I want to be that 80-year-old. So I have to think about that 80-year-old every single day to make sure that I honor that for my future. You don't have to eat perfectly, but just take it one meal at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just one meal at a time. You can make these changes, but make all the difference for your future.
And just a quick comment for anybody who is watching this, Kim is not 75 yet. So in 5 years from now, she will not be 80. She is looking way forward.
I'm looking way forward. You are right. I'm looking 20 years ahead. I'll be 60 this month. So I'm looking way far ahead. But I have to think that way. So maybe think about that. Maybe you're 40, maybe you're 50. How do you want to look and feel when you're 60? I know a lot of 80-year-olds. My mom, who I take care of, she's 87. She's doing pretty good, but she could be doing better. She could absolutely be doing better. And if she thought about that when she was 60, maybe she would have made some changes. But find me on social media. Find me on the Diabetes 101 for beginners. You can message me directly. Facebook and Instagram, just search my name, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. You can message me. If you friend me on Facebook, then you can certainly send me a DM on Messenger. It was great to do this presentation. I hope you learned something.
Absolutely. Well, Kim, thank you very much for this. I have to say that, well, you touched a little bit of everything today, and I was listening to this and thinking, gosh, if I knew at least half of what we spoke today about when my husband was around, we
Mhm.
probably would be much better at the end. He wouldn't be suffering that much, and very likely he would be around. I see in our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for beginners, we have very big amount of people reporting that they've been diagnosed 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Mhm.
Fortunately, majority of them coming to report that they made some changes, they made some hard choices, but they are so much better now, and they are here to inspire newly diagnosed
Yeah.
to do that. So these are great people who come to the group to share that this is possible
Mhm.
instead of my husband was diagnosed 23 years ago. I'm just thinking that if I knew what to do, if he knew what to do, we probably would be in a different situation right now. So I appreciate very much you putting so much effort to put all this information together because uh, I mean, dive into the rabbit hole and listen to all the presentations that are out there available for everyone on Google, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
TikTok. You go there, you
There's a
will
lot.
be you will be immersed in it for days, and at the end you will not have this solid conclusion of what you need to do because that sounds good and that sounds great and
Yeah.
that I don't have enough life to experience all these proposed choices. So it's a good thing that you actually had this experience in your life, you had this education, you continuously improving your knowledge base and sharing with us that. So I appreciate very much what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's my pleasure. I love this. This is what I consume myself with 24/7. This is my life, and I am available if anybody needs to message me. But if you can't find me, find Arena and she'll find me. She finds me
Yeah.
every day.
Yes. So I see we have a couple of people who are listening us live. So if you ladies have a question, it's about now about you. If you have questions or you need to clarify anything here, please unmute yourself and ask these questions. unless you don't have questions, unless everything.
Iris, how frequently do you and your husband dine out during your week?
My husband and I probably eat out together maybe once a month. He
Oh,
eats
really?
out, he eats out once a week with his friends, and I eat out about once a week with my friends.
And then you dine out together once a month.
About once a month, yeah, not too often.
So that's
Uh,
about right. About 4.5, 5 times a month dining out. Mhm.
yeah, because he's always eating protein and no carbs, and so it's easier. And he's not a food. Food is to sustain himself, not something he really enjoys. So, um, eating out for him is a way he does it for the social.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also do it for the social, but I enjoy eating out. I also eat out the things that I either can't get a hold of because of my religious lifestyle.
Hmm.
So I'll eat certain things. But again, it's
Hmm.
a lot of protein.
Yeah. Yeah. So you go there with the mindset that you are going to have a blood sugar friendly restaurant meal. Is
Pretty
that
much.
something that bothers you every time you dine out, or you're happy to do that for yourself?
I'm happy to do that for myself. I think it's very important what you said. What I do today affects my 5 or 10 years from now.
That's right.
Now, I wish I was turning 60 this month, but I'm not. But I have young grandchildren, and I would really like to stick around as long as possible to see them grow up more and
That's
be
that's
in
great.
a decent shape.
There you go. There's your why.
Yeah, and mentally, I don't think I'm my age. I still think I'm back in college.
I know, isn't that strange? You never feel your age, and that's good. You shouldn't.
No, no, because once you do, and you say, I'm old, and this hurts and that hurts, and I can't do this and I can't do that. You're forget it. You're done. You're done for. It's a lot of it is your how you think of yourself.
Yeah.
If you think you're young and you try to do things to keep yourself young, you'll be young.
Yeah, mindset is so important, and this is something that we always are talking about on
Mm.
all conversations I have with health experts on the podcast, interviews, and in our private conversations. All of people who work in healthcare and just life coaches, they all agree on one thing. Once you set your mind to this point that everything that is happening around you happening for a reason, and you have a goal, and you uh, moving towards it, you are moving towards it. If you are saying that everything that is happening and poor you are a victim, and poor you, and what can I do, and I cannot change it, things are not moving forward to the desired result. So you really have to believe that you're in charge, and act like it.
I love
Irina,
that.
it's not that they can't change it, they won't change it.
Well, the thing what I'm saying is they won't change it because they believe that whatever they do, nothing will happen, nothing will change. So why even bother?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Compared to those we see in our Facebook group, so many success stories, but these are the people who actually decided to take charge. They tried this, they tried that, things worked out, didn't work out, but then they decided these are all other people's stories. My story is unique, and I am the only one who can make those changes that good for me, and they start acting on that, and
Mhm.
that's when they start seeing the results. So being a participant, not the victim, not the patient, that's the most important thing.
Very
And
true.
knowing,
Very true.
and you know, it can be very overwhelming. You know, you talk to me for an hour, you're coming out of our visit with like, whoa, that was a lot. But just break it down to just let's just focus on breakfast. This is our next meal. Just one meal at a time. What can you do in that meal to lower the carbs? If you can't lower the carbs, can you be more active? Did you take your medicine if you need diabetes medication? Did you know all of these things you can just think about for just one meal at a time, and then that makes it less overwhelming.
One thing I read last week, and it's actually was kind of interesting. Same in the same topic, what you're saying, one meal at a time, but you may even break it down if it's really hard. It's really hard for you to do that. I've heard one coach was saying, okay, can we talk about you scheduling your dinner and keeping it not later than 8 p.m.? Can you do that? Forget about all the changes. Just do it before 8 p.m. Can you do that? Like, yeah, I can do it. Let's stick with that and see where we will get. So next meeting we have in a week, and you let me and you tell me how did it go? How did this affect your sleeping routine? How did this affect your morning? How do you feel in the morning? So even those little changes, whatever it is for anyone, what is the easiest for you to do to start with,
Yeah.
and then these results may inspire you to do more and
Yeah.
try that. Oh, I was successful with that, I may try that too, because before that it was overwhelming, but now it seems like it's doable. Let's try it.
Diane, did you have any questions, my dear, or any comments about how frequently you dine out at your home? If you do,
Maybe.
Diane, you can just put it in the chat. It's okay. You don't have to be on camera. But if
Yeah,
you have any
and
questions, we'll happy
That's
to
okay.
answer.
No, I was just gonna say that my husband is bedridden. He doesn't leave the house at all, so we don't really go out to eat. I go out to eat with my friends maybe twice a month, but that's it.
Yeah.
So
Diane, is it hard for you? Like, I don't know. Is it you who have diabetes or your husband?
I do.
Yeah. So do you find it hard or difficult when you're dining out just the 2 times a month to make it diabetes friendly, or do you try to bring half of the meal home, or what is your strategy?
Well, I started when I go to Culver's not to get the fries, I get the coleslaw. And so that's one step. And then I don't get the chocolate custard. I get the vanilla because I just recently found out I've got kidney stones. So one of the things you not to eat is chocolate. So just a little changes like that that I've made.
Very good. Awesome.
well,
Any more questions?
I wanted
Um,
to
Mm.
Diane, just do you have a question?
no, I don't.
All right. If you don't mind, I wanted to remind, because we are talking, this is our Diabetes 101 for caregivers. I wanted to remind something to everyone who is a caregiver, because this is the challenge that I was going through, helping my husband, not really taking care of him, because majority of his life with this diagnosis, he was taking care of himself, and that's probably where I feel that I could contribute more, but I was not allowed to. Um, Keep in mind that everybody is different, and the conversation we had with my husband was such that I am the visitor I am the observer, and he is the owner of this body and this diagnosis, and I cannot make a decision for him, and he knows better. Unfortunately, that is a position for many people.
Yeah.
And my personal, I was offended. I was offended. I was upset. I am also very stubborn, so I continued my in, intrusions. But the thing that I wanted to share with everyone who is a caregiver is one thing: don't take it personally, because this is really the diagnosis of that person who you love, who you care for. And they have to come to peace with this diagnosis. And sometimes it takes time. So don't rush it. Because once the decision, like once it's settled with them, once they accept that, they are more likely to start making those changes. And your job is just to be understanding and try to make changes in your life. Don't drink those soft drinks. Don't drink those sweet juices. We started with diluting. We bought this sparkling machine that
Mhm.
sparkles the water, and instead of having the big jug of I don't know, soft drink, we would have a little bit of this homemade syrup with the berries, like tablespoon of this, and the whole big glass of sparkling water. It
Yeah.
it really brought the flavors and helped us, but to me, it was much better to see that he's doing that rather than getting his Coke, because he was not drinking coffee or tea. He said, I need my caffeine, so he needs Coke. So he was making small changes, and I just wanted to remind you who are caregivers, let them make those changes and provide as much options on healthy choices as it possible. Educate yourself
Mhm.
to the what you want them to do, and maybe you will inspire by your activities to go for a walk. Invite them, of course, to go for a walk with you. You have a I one of the things that I use to, we have a lot of things to discuss about kids. Let's go outside and talk about it so kids will not hear what we are discussing. So that was one of the things that we started doing, having those conversations outside. So any trick, whatever you can come up with, will work. We need to eat healthier, so you're shopping smart. We need to move, figure out what will be acceptable for everyone, and try to have a good sleeping routine and keep your relationships in a neutral, at least, position. If you are a very passionate person and you are angry, maybe take a shower at that time. But don't get it on the person, because they also going through the tremendous nervous stress, and you don't want them to have more stress from you. Talking from the experience, I was not perfect. I know that I could do better, but I didn't know then. So sharing it with everyone here now is one of the reasons why we're doing that. Kim has her experience and knowledge. I just have an experience, and I'm sharing it too. That's it.
Arena, the other thing, just from what you said was great, and that is absolutely all of that is true. And you have to be, whether you're raising children or you're raising a husband or a wife or somebody else who you're caregiving for, catch them doing something right. Stop the critical. Stop catching them doing something wrong, because they will start to hide. They will hide from you. Funny
Mhm.
story. In the other presentation, you can listen to it. But I mean, if somebody tells me, wow, that is a really beautiful color on you, I'm going to wear that color every day. If somebody tells me, or when it came to my dad, I would say, Dad, I can't believe you have so many vegetables on your plate. I love that. Every time I went in there, he had double the vegetables. Like people want to be make you proud, whether it's your daughter or a coworker or a friend or, a parent. My dad would always say, hey, look what I took a picture of my lunch. Look what I had for lunch today. I'm like, that is amazing, Dad. I love that. And, just those little things, and they keep that in their mind. Oh, this is good. This is good. Somebody said that was good. And you're going to do that. If bad behavior, you'd be critical of everything. I mean, no adult wants to be told what to do. It's like, you tell me that I can't have something, well, I'm going to go get it. So catch them doing something right, and you'll have definitely better compliance with the meal plan.
Definitely, definitely. Well, we are, looks like our claimed 2 hours. We are getting to shorten this time, but that's actually a good thing. We always reserve some time for questions and answers if any people have questions, and hopefully we will have more people joining us for these live presentations because, as I mentioned, maybe I didn't, we have these recordings available on our YouTube channel, and YouTube channel is called Smart Move 360, and the presentations are there. You just will need to go to the playlist and pick up from there the Diabetes 101 for caregivers. All the presentations I mentioned, they are there. And you could, by the way, see the other, our YouTube channel has multiple playlists, and including our podcast, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360. And you could see now I separated the separate playlist, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360 Warriors, which is the stories of people who live with diabetes, so you could hear what is happening with other people, and we have these conversations there. So that's something that you could do. Another thing I wanted to, this is to empower people. Last month, I published finally this app. It's available on Google Play and Apple Store. We are filling it in with the information. I know we're working with Kim to have her information there. We're working with Trevor Brown to have his information there. I have lineup of different providers who also have different strategies to offer people, different tools to offer to people. I am trying to fill in the marketplace with the products that will be helpful for people. And of course, the books that I feel that will be helpful. I know JJ has her Diabetes 101 manual, so you could actually soon, not there yet, but soon you will be able to get that. So download it, put the notification on, so every time something new will be available, you will be able to go and check what's new is there. This will be my project for the next several years to make sure that people who have diabetes in Facebook, you could go and chat and ask immediate questions. On app, you could go and get help, acquire help, and you have a choice. You'll have a choice. You want to work with a chef, there will be the app for chefs. You want to work with dietitian, there will be a dietitian, and not one. There are several people who have different approaches, and you will have a choice to see what works best for you. You want a personal trainer to help you to do the exercises more regularly, there will be this. As I said, multiple choices available for you. Download it, put the notification on, and things are coming up. We are working on it to make sure that we don't waste your screen time on something that you don't need. But for today, if we don't have much more to discuss, Aris, Diane, if you have anything to bring up, I think we can wrap up for today. Yes, Iris?
One suggestion, Kim, in your breakfast and lunch and dinner presentations, you did little charts. You know, pick your protein from here and then pick two veggies from here. If that could be made available
Yes.
in some sort of PDF in the future,
Yeah.
I think that would help a lot of people go, I don't know what to eat. Oh, I could do this and this and this. I think that would be fantastic because I thought it was a great tool for me because you get tired all the time for me eating breakfast is eggs or it's cottage cheese or it's oatmeal. I just need to come up with something different.
We had a lot of fun with that because you were the one who I picked on to give us, you went through the whole thing and you picked up so many different random things, but it ended up all working together. So yes, that's going to be part of Arena's app.
Okay. Well,
it will be Kim's app under my, in the
Yeah.
hub.
I'm working on it with our IT person right now.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for today.
Yes, thank you.
Iris,
Always good information.
our number one fan. Thank you. And Diane too. Thank you,
You're
dear.
welcome.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Yes, thank you. And everyone, again, this is our ninth presentation in this series in 2025. We will see how, yes.
Maybe we should ask Iris or Diane, since they're our faithful fan club, what they would like to have for our 10th presentation.
Oh, wow.
I have a suggestion. I have an idea. Unless ladies will come up with something right away, what really you were thinking about all the time. But one of the topics, and I've heard that from several people already as a request, to have the talk about CGMs, continuous glucose monitors, places where to place it. Maybe, Kim, since you are wearing it, maybe you could show literally how to place it. So if you can time yourself up to this presentation and show how to place it, because this is something that a lot of people struggling with. They have it, but they don't know. They afraid of pain or they afraid of doing something wrong. So maybe this will be one of the future presentations. We definitely will place announcement about it in the group. If you feel like this is
that can definitely, I don't think that's going to take 45 minutes, but I can do that and then something else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Talking about I am absolutely confident that you will be able to have this presentation with demonstration useful for people, and we will do that.
Iris, what was your suggestion?
No, I think that's a good idea. I would think that since it's very much in the forefront today would be the GLP-1s.
I could do half and half.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad
idea. GLP-1s, just to let everybody know, we already spoke about it at the presentation when we had medication for type 2 diabetes, and Kim covered quite a bit of it there. But if there is something else that Iris, we are staying in touch with you. So if you please take a look at that presentation and say that we forgot to mention that, we definitely will make sure that whatever we missed in the last time, we will bring it up again.
Yeah, I could do more in depth on it. Yeah, more in depth.
All right, I will look at that, and I'll do a little thought in the next week or so if there's a topic that comes up that says, okay, this might be good, and I'll let you ladies know.
Yes, thank you. And when we go to our support group meetings, if you join us there, then we'll have chance to talk about it there as well. So,
what is that GL whatever? What is that? that you just,
GLP-1.
Oh, a GLP-1?
yeah, what is that?
That's a like Ozempic and Zepbound.
Okay.
All
The-
this
It's
in-
what stops your appetite to help you
Right.
lose weight. Yeah.
Okay,
It
thank
was
you.
primarily for diabetes, to help with blood sugar control, but then they made a version of it for the population for weight loss. So
I
it's
see,
primarily
okay.
for diabetes, but they took out some ingredient that lowers blood sugars and took that out for the people who don't have diabetes for weight loss because it was so effective. I have a lot to say about that, and there's some new things I probably could bring up compared to what I had in the conversation
Well,
earlier.
then we will just expand on it, and we will
Yeah.
have a chance to link to the other ones, but focus on that. Let's talk about it. We have more presentations to come, so we have varieties, and we will do that. Uh, okay, that's it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Kim. Bye, Irina.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Cyrus.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.